everyone. Thank you so much for watching the Boss Babes. I'm Emmalyn Reid, and I'm jumping on to co-host today with, of course, the beautiful and talented Brittany Baldessari. We are so excited to get this show started today, and we do have a special guest, Silvana Britton, who is going to be talking with us. So, Britt, how's everything going?
I am so excited to join both of you beautiful ladies here today. Stay tuned, guys. We have Silvana Britton with us. She is a baseball wife, mom, and entrepreneur. So you guys are in for a very special episode. But before we even get into that, Emma, how have you been? I know we haven't seen you on here in a while since we last did our show with Laura Sanko, the UFC fighter.
Yeah, things have been really good. Things have been, fortunately, really ramping up with this charity show that I've been working on, Evenings with Emmalyn. It has been awesome to be able to be connecting with so many different organizations and just regular people in the community that have been giving back. I think it's definitely something that the world needs a lot more of right now, right? We all have these difficult moments in our lives that we're kind of going through and struggling with. And everybody has, a different lifestyle change that they've personally experienced. Either way, whether you've gone through something that has kind of transformed your life or not, I think it's still a really great way to really highlight people giving back. We really want to hear more positive, good, happy, uplifting news in the world. And it's there because that's what, people are out there doing and giving back in a lot of different ways. And I think that that's important to know, to kind of shine that light in the world and show, hey, things might seem crazy, but there's a lot of good going on. And you can see it if you tune in every Friday at 6 p.m.
Congratulations on your new show. Again, guys, if you guys are listening in right now, every Friday, Emma just recently started this at 6 p.m. You guys can tune in on her YouTube page and also on her Facebook. I've been sharing out some clips also, but I thought those donuts that you recently made, those apple cider donuts, those would make some really good game day eats.
They are so good. And the best part about them is I love the fact that they're gluten-free, because whether you eat gluten-free or not, my tester is always my husband, because he cannot stand having like the gluten-free stuff most of the time. He's like, I don't want it. But what he's been more open to is trying. And with these gluten-free donuts that I made, he was like, I literally can't tell the difference. And that was just like imagine like cheering and like bells like it was just so exciting for me. It was such a victory to get him something that he loves. You pop them in the oven, it's a little bit longer, but still, I mean, it's like 25-minute difference. They're really awesome and an easy recipe to make.
You guys should, again, go check out Evenings with Emmalyn. She is going to be giving you guys some fresh look Friday looks. She's going to probably be putting out some awesome outfits for you guys and showing you guys how to cook different meal items, and also how to decorate your bathroom, decorate your closet space in a special way, how to organize properly. So again, Evenings with Emmalyn, please tune in. And again, I will be sharing out highlights, of course, on the Boss Babes page. I know we just lightly spoke about game day eats. We will be talking about that towards the end of the show, but let's jump into some sports. So the Los Angeles Dodgers, I am so happy for them. Like, they literally just won the World Series a couple weeks ago, especially after coming off of a baseball season that literally I did not think was going to happen. And I am super thrilled for former Boston Red Sox, Mookie Betts. He just recently won his fifth, not one, not two, not three, not four, fifth Gold Glove. And literally he deserves that Gold Glove, because some of those catches he was making out in the outfield, I was like, holy cow, like robbing people of home runs. And I actually recently listened to a really cool story about Mookie Betts. If you guys don't know this about him, I would love to get his wife on the show eventually. So Mookie Betts, back in the day, was super tiny. He's still tiny now. He's only like 5'9". So for a professional baseball player, that's kind of on the tiny side. I guess back in the day, Mookie Betts was so tiny and I guess not that great of a baseball player that he didn't even make his little league team. So his mom went out of her way to start her own baseball team for Mookie and his friends that didn't make the team. And now look at him.
I love that.
Right? He's a World Series winner a couple of times over. He won with the Red Sox. He just recently won a few weeks ago with the Dodgers. 5 Gold Gloves. So Mookie Betts, all the power to you. You are literally rocking it. And right now there's baseball free agency. A lot of baseball players, I think, are kind of freaked out about what's going to happen in the upcoming 2021 season due to the fact that, is COVID going to be gone? Are the minor league baseball teams going to be back?
Well, I think it's something that every team and every free agent in any kind of sport is worried about, right? This is across the board because it's not just COVID affecting baseball, it's COVID affecting every single sport, whether and it's difficult. I'm sure it's very scary for people in that position, but I think it also can be looked at as an opportunity.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be good for those players that are becoming free agents to look at their contracts, see what they might want to play, and see what happens in the future. And you also made a good point to the fact that you are correct. It's not just the MLB free agents, it's all of the athletes across the board, because right now, currently, the NBA is at a standstill, NHL season is at a standstill. Normally, both of those sports, the players would be getting ready and getting hyped up for their season. And now, because everything got pushed back due to COVID and the season's running longer into the summer, everybody's literally just at a standstill. So I'm literally sitting here waiting to see what happens, especially with the Maine Red Claw season. As you guys know, I am the on-court host of the Maine Red Claws, and I don't even know what's happening with my season. So everything is very much so up in the air. And Emma, you hit the nail on the head. It's not just the MLB players that are sitting here waiting to see what's about to happen. It really is everybody across the board. And last but not least, before we get into our special guest, we have to talk a little bit about the New England Patriots. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Emma and I last year, we kind of discussed that this upcoming season wasn't going to be that great. All last year on the BosBabes show, we were wondering if Tom Brady was coming back because he randomly stopped working alongside the best buddies and his house went up for sale. And here we are starting the new NFL season, or we're in the middle of the NFL season, should I say. And wham, bam, no thank you, ma'am. We have Tom Brady killing it down in Florida with the Bucs, with Rob Gronkowski, with Antonio Brown about to come back in a couple weeks. They are 6-2, and the Patriots are literally like 2-5 because they can't pull it together. They're obviously rebuilding. And I actually put up a little joke, funny Facebook post the other day saying that the New England Patriots look like they're dressed up as the Cleveland Browns this season for Halloween. What do you think about Tom Brady and the Bucs, and also the Patriots obviously not doing that well? I know your husband Jacoby is a big Patriots fan.
Yeah. So first of all, I have to give you credit, but Brittany, because you really did call this last year. You really did say, I remember hearing it. You were feeling like, hey, this next season, I don't know what it's going to look like. I feel like it's going to be a bust. And everyone was like, shh, don't say that. But you're right. And I know that, for my husband personally, it's been a very difficult time because, first of all, when Brady announced that he wasn't coming back on St. Patrick's Day, that crushed his soul, especially because St. Patrick's Day is his favorite holiday. And then moving forward to see, that he's switched teams and to see, him teaming up with Gronk again, which again is something that Britt, I remember predicted. So it's interesting to see that, they've kind of gone in this different direction. And quite honestly, it kind of makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes within the Patriots organization. You really never know what's going on behind the scenes. So I think it's very interesting to see that, several members of the Patriots organization have moved now to go to to Tampa. It's just interesting to see. And I'm wondering what that's going to leave for the rest of the season up here. I know my husband's very frustrated and seeing all of the, he comes in partway through the game and he'll come in to just be like, I need a hug. Man, I need some puppy kisses from our dog Shandy. This is just not going well. And he'll, be mad at himself if he forgets his shirt. He'll be like, it's me, it's my fault. So I think it's tough for a lot of people to see a rough season. Right? So I think we just got to keep being those fans and just, keep being there and believing in them.
Fingers crossed that we end up winning at least a couple more games. I personally don't think we're going to be making the playoffs this season. That's just my guess. And I hate to say that, as a New England Patriots fan, as a diehard New Englander, of course, living here in the area, I just don't see us making the playoffs, especially the way that we are playing. But let's switch on over right now. We've been talking about baseball, talking about what we've been up to this summer and this fall. Without further ado, we have the ever gorgeous Silvana Britton, and she is a baseball wife, a mompreneur because she is a mother and an entrepreneur. We're going to be talking all about Ballpark Gem and how she founded that brand shortly. But I'm going to kick it off to Emma, and she's going to discuss with you where you grew up when you were younger.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I would love to hear all about where you grew up and your journey moving to the United States. Tell us all about it.
Super. So I am from Venezuela originally. I was there until I was 7 years old. I came here. It's really funny because my mom was like, oh, we're going to Disney. And I was like, oh, okay. But we never ended up going to Disney until I was like a grown adult. But yeah, I'm really excited. I moved to Miami, so I lived there for a year, and then I moved to Sarasota, and I've been here my entire life.
That's amazing. How's the weather down there today? I just want to ask, being from New England.
So it's actually been slightly cooler than usual. It's about 78.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's nice for a change. I'm wearing my long sleeves, so that's how you know where you're from Florida.
Girl of my own heart. I love, love, love being warm. It's actually, it's getting a little warm. It's going to be 53 today, so it's going to be nice up here. Yeah, it's chilly, but growing up in Sarasota, I'm sure that you have been able to see a lot of, the awesome best parts of it. Where are some places that you would recommend that people would stop in if they're in Sarasota?
So food-wise, I would definitely go to Dry Dock. It's closer to Bradenton, Longboat Key area, but they have the best mahi sandwiches, beautiful views of the water. You basically sit like right next to the water. Downtown Sarasota, I mean, there's just so many amazing places. St. Armand's is one of my favorites. Very touristy spot, but the beach is right there, and you have, all the shopping centers and all of these amazing restaurants. So that's definitely probably the place I would go first.
And then back at home, I'm told that you make an amazing recipe called Sills Chicken. Can you tell me, what is Sills Chicken?
So, really funny story. I never cooked ever my whole life. And my mom's like, you're never going to find a husband because you don't cook. And I was like, well, I just don't really like to cook. I'd never done it. So I didn't think that I would be good at it. Surprisingly, I was really good at it. So I have like secret ingredients that I put in there, but it's mainly like seasoning, and I use lime and Worcestershire sauce. Awesome. And when I tell you, it's like, my husband calls it the sauce, like the seasoning. And he's like, the sauce is so good. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's amazing. And so another thing with Sills Chicken is that you have to cook chicken at a certain temperature for it to stay juicy. And for me, my chicken is always really juicy, so I don't know.
That's awesome. It sounds like you have a really amazing recipe that everybody loves. What do you use for sides with it normally?
Honestly, we don't really use any sides because
this is a standalone dish.
It's literally like we cook like 20 drums, and between my husband and I, we just devour them. And by the time, it's like, you want some, potatoes for the side? No, like I will eat this whole entire tray of chicken before I even look at a side. All
right, so it sounds like you have a whole nother business venture that you could do, making this Sills Chicken, and maybe that could be good. But let's talk to a little bit about Ballpark Gems. I want to talk about this business that you have started. So you're not only an amazing chef, but you're also a mom, which we're going to get into later, and you've started this company. Now, I took a look online, and I saw those quilted Chanel, the white and gold or the pink and gold, and I was just absolutely in love. What prompted you to start this company?
So for my birthday, I really wanted a cute necklace, some cute jewelry, and I came across Chanel button jewelry. And I was like, you know what? I really want to buy one of those. They were a little bit on the pricier side, but I justified it as it being my birthday gift. So I went ahead and bought one. And when I received it, it was very poorly made. I was really disappointed with the quality, the craftsmanship. It was just, it was embarrassing. Unfortunately, there were no returns, no refunds, no exchanges, nothing. So I was stuck with it. And I was like, well, if I'm stuck with this, I might as well, try to do something with it. So I took it apart and I bought some material and I made it myself, and it was amazing. And I was like, you know what? I could totally do this. Like, people are out here buying, these expensive necklaces that are so poorly made. And I'm over here, like, I can make it so much better. And my prices are extremely competitive. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is fun for me and I enjoy it. And I love how happy people are when they receive them.
I was looking at it and I was just like, this line is so beautiful. I don't know how anybody picks like just one, first of all, but I loved, oh my gosh, the quilted Chanel. I was just like, it's so classy. It was so elegant. And the way you put it together was just, it was so adorable. So I love the work that you're doing. And I know Britt has some questions for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey girls, so I love hearing all about Ballpark Gem. I'm going to ask you a couple more quick questions about the brand. Do you have any future plans for Ballpark Gem? And of course, you started that line because you got a necklace for your birthday. It started to fall apart and you said to yourself, you know what, like, I don't like this quality. I'm going to start refurbishing this necklace and create my own brand, my own line. So what sort of sparked your interest in continuing to make more necklaces? I've seen so many that you have up there. Right now, currently, you have chokers, you have long dangly necklaces, you have ones that look like paper clips almost, like the chain looks like a paper clip. And I think you're going to start doing stuff with Gucci and I believe Louis Vuitton. So what do you have for your future plans, and what types of items can we look for in the future that you currently have out now?
So I'm going to be making new earrings. Earrings have been something that people keep asking about. And since I haven't quite figured out or mastered how to make it in the best quality yet, I don't want to, start like really putting them out there. But that is one thing that I'm working on right now. I'm working on getting different brands of buttons, Dior, Fendi, just different designer brands. Another thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing like sets, earrings and necklace sets. I actually just did my first for a customer and she absolutely loved it. So I think that's another thing that I'm going to be starting, especially during the holidays. But I guess I should have clarified the earrings. I'm going to be starting stud earrings, and those are the ones that are a little more difficult to get perfect because of the way they sit, or like how heavy they can be, or how they fall on your earlobes. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration, and I want to make sure that I am giving out the best quality for my business.
The holiday season coming up, you guys should definitely go ahead, check out Ballpark Gem. She has an Instagram right now. Do you have a website up yet? Is that currently up and running as well?
Not yet. So at first, this is really funny. Before I ever started Ballpark Gem, I have my own personal Instagram, and after I had made my first necklace, I'm gonna see if people would be interested in buying these. So I had the buttons, and I sold out before ever posting an actual picture of a necklace, or before ever even launching Ballpark Gem. And I think that's what made me like, okay, I have to get started on this. As for a website, I don't have one yet. I'm still kind of tweaking things to make sure that I have a good platform. People can go, and purchase necklaces, because I don't necessarily keep things in stock right now. I make everything custom made. So it just really depends on how the next couple of months go. I'll feel it out and see how that kind of works out.
So if people want to go ahead and order either a custom item or something straight off of your Instagram, for example, if you don't have a website yet, where can people find you or order these? Do they just simply slide into your DMs, or how does that work? Just so that the people can know for the holidays, if you guys want to purchase some items from Ballpark Gem, this is how you can do it from Silvana.
Yep. So as of right now, you can just message me directly and I will get the order ready for you, ship it out, and send you a tracking number. You can pay directly through like PayPal or Venmo or Zelle, things like that.
Well, we are going to be hearing all about baseball from you very shortly. We know that you are a baseball wife, an entrepreneur, and also a mommy, which Emma will be speaking with you a little bit later on. Before we continue this amazing show, guys, you guys are now listening to the Boss Babes. I'm your host, Brittany Baldi, alongside Reid. She is joining us today as well. And we are here with our special guest, Silvana Britton. Before we continue, guys, we have this phone number right here, 508-361-0519. Again, guys, please write it down if you live in the Massachusetts area, 508-361-0519. They are our good friends over at Green Team Junk Removal. If you guys have any items laying around, whether it be at your house or at work, laying around in your backyard, items that you just need to get rid of that you no longer need, please call Green Team Junk Removal again at 508-361-0519. They will show up wherever you are, collect those items. And the coolest part about this company is they donate a good portion of those items to various charities around the area. So that's why I personally love them. The owner, Fred Cullen, is amazing. Anything that can be salvaged or repurposed, he does donate. And everything that cannot be salvaged or donated gets thrown into an area where it's not going to be going into a landfill. So he gets rid of everything in an eco-friendly way. So again, Green Team Junk Removal, you guys rock. 508-361-0519. We love you, Fred Cullen. And we're going to jump right back into Silvana Britton. Girl, we know that you are a big sports fan. You grew up in Venezuela. Let's chat a little bit about the fact that you grew up in Venezuela and you lived there until you were about 7 years old. Do you remember anything from living there? I know you were also a big soccer fan because of living in Venezuela.
Yeah, so I was born in Venezuela. I remember just about everything from living there. We lived in a couple of different cities. At one point we lived up in the mountains, so that was really cool. I was a huge soccer fan when I was little, but mainly because my family was so like crazy about sports, and Hispanic families are really close knit. We saw each other every day. I have like 12 cousins and 10 aunts and uncles. So we were always together. So I kind of just, I don't know, being from Venezuela and it being such a popular sport at the time, it was my favorite.
Did you have any favorite athletes that you looked up to as well?
Not necessarily. I just loved it because it was like a family thing for us. Everybody would always be together. It was like a big party. And I guess that's really what I remember most about it, just being with everyone and, being close. My favorite soccer teams were from Brazil or from France. I had a stepdad who was like half French, and he was, really diehard, like loved the French soccer team. So I remember there was like the World Cup at the time, and it was like a huge thing. So I guess really what I loved most about it was the memories that I have from being so close to my family at the time, since I haven't seen any of them since I left.
I think that is so amazing that you just thinking about that sport, and it brings you back memories of being in Venezuela, having those family memories. And I know that you didn't really play too many sports or didn't play any sports when you were younger. However, I think it's super interesting that you went to a military high school and you were on the drill team and did some marching competitions. So what was that experience like? And did you do anything with that experience after? Did you continue anything with the military afterwards?
No, I basically went to a military high school, Sarasota Military Academy. I always liked being really active. I just never really gravitated to a certain sport. So I decided to join the drill team. And from there, I made a lot of the really good marching squads. So we did a lot of competitions throughout Florida State. So that was really exciting. I remember there was one year there was like an individual competition. It's not like a competition where you're in a squad or in a platoon. And I got 7th place in the state of Florida. So that was really exciting. One thing I was really good at was, walking in a straight line.
So I think it's super cool that you did actively get involved with the marching, with the drill team, and being involved at those competitions. Do you see yourself doing anything with the military in the future, per se?
Not myself. I have a lot of friends who are in the military. I have a lot of friends that I went to high school with who ended up joining the military. So I am always, being really supportive of it. But there's nothing that I personally would do. I mean, even right now, just because, you know, I have a baby, I have school going on, I have a husband that I have to take care of. So you know how that goes.
You are just actively being that mom, that entrepreneur in that baseball life. But I think it is super amazing learning all about the marching competitions and the fact that you grew up in Venezuela, the fact that you love the sport of soccer. And we will transition into talking about baseball shortly. Before we get into that, I'm going to switch it back over to Emmalyn Reid. I see her with her little puppy. Over there, I see Shandy Girl. And she's going to talk to you about some of your fun facts because I know that you are a Christian, you are into your faith, you love talking to God every day and learning more about Him and your spiritual path. So I will have Emma ask you a little bit about your faith.
As someone who's a Christian woman myself, I love the fact that you are so involved with your faith and bringing it into your family, which I'm sure is a very hectic life, being, all that you do. Can you talk about how your faith has helped you through some of those times where things may seem really stressful and may seem really difficult?
Oh, absolutely. So one thing that I really try to focus on is not worrying. And as hard as it is to do that, it's also very easy to do. I have 100% faith that things will always work out, and they always do. Things are already, predetermined. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But you can shape how you handle what happens, and with being grateful and thanking God for all of the things that He does and for always carrying you through those tough times, that's when you really start to realize, there's no reason to ever worry. And I think that's really hard for some people to understand, but once you start looking into it, start digging deep into your faith, you start to realize, hey, like, there's never a reason to worry.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that that's something that you've, worked with teaching your young children. And is that something that, you share with your entire family, or is that something that's been kind of your own spiritual journey?
It definitely has been something that I have done my whole life, but it is something I share with my family. Absolutely. Sometimes you need that other person there to be like, hey, like, it'll work out. It's going to be okay. Don't stress. It's already been taken care of. And that is the biggest thing for me, to know, not just know because I see it, but know because I believe it. Things have already been taken care of. Things are going to work out, especially in such a, crazy time right now with the coronavirus and everything that's going on. But you just know that it's going to work out no matter what.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And I'm sure as a mom, that's been something that there have been many times where you're like, it's stressful, it's crazy, there's a lot of things that I have to handle. So having that deep breath must be really, really amazing. And let's talk about your life as a mom. What has that journey been like for you?
It's been insane. So my daughter was born during the season, and this was last year. My husband's team went on to compete in the championships, and he had to stay longer. So I was basically alone from the day from when she was 7 days old up until when she was about 5 months old.
Wow.
So it was very challenging. There was a lot of my faith was tested, but honestly, it made me so much stronger. It made me realize that I was capable of doing so many things that I never thought I could do.
So things like that, situations like this, I'm sure, are the times where you're very happy to have your faith when everything seems very crazy and like it's running around. Now let's talk about that balance. You were saying that in the season, having a brand new baby, that must have been really hard as well for your husband to manage, because, here he is trying to, figure out what he's doing and, make sure he's taking care of business. But I'm sure it was very concerning for him as well to be like, I have a family at home and wanting to truly be there with you guys. I'm sure that was a challenge for him as well.
Oh, absolutely. Just FaceTime every day, I try to really make it as easy on him as possible, because I know, he has another life, with baseball and like with his team and focusing on things, and they were doing so well, and it was just a lot of pressure on him. So I kind of was just like, okay, like this is what I have to do. And sometimes you have to be that strong person for everybody, you know? And at the time, you know, I was going through some postpartum depression. I was alone a lot of the time, but like I said earlier with my kids, I knew that it was all going to work out. It was all going to be taken care of. And it truly was, and it has been taken care of. I mean, he's home now, and he's been home, you know, with the coronavirus and stuff. He was home for a while. So we were able to get all that time that he kind of missed in the beginning when she was really small. We were kind of able to make up that time this year. So it was awesome.
That is really, really amazing. I mean, it's one of the blessings, right, that comes out of COVID, that there's a lot of time that you get to spend with that family. So I'm sure that's been really awesome for him to be able to, you know, come back in and spend all of that time. How does it look now differently for you guys as a family now that, you know, your baby is a little bit older? How have things changed for you guys? Is there more of like a swing to things, or is it still just kind of like chaos, left, right, and sideways, trying to run and figure it out?
It's a little bit of both. So there's definitely more of a routine. She's able to kind of tell me what she wants, kind of, you know, she doesn't really talk quite yet, you know, spending more time with her and being used to, okay, like getting up and, you know, making sure she's on her schedule, feeding, naps, definitely much easier than it was in the beginning. And especially since he's home, he helps a lot. I always tell him like, hey, you know, like, I had all this time with just her, so it's your turn. So he pretty much does like most of everything now that he's home. It's really awesome, you know. He's amazing, and I could not do it without him.
That's awesome. And Britt, I know you had some questions for Silvana as well. I don't want to take up all of her time here.
Thank you so much, Emma. And Silvana, you are doing so well today. If you guys don't know this is Silvana's first time ever doing an interview. I know it's been a little hectic. We have the dogs in the background, and I know that it's election day, and we have babies and baseball season and free agency and all types of craziness going on right now. You guys are listening to the Boss Babes. I'm your host, Brittany Baldi. Joining me is Emmalyn Reid. I'm so happy she's here today. And you guys are listening to special guest Silvana Britton. We are going to be poking the bear a little bit more about baseball because her husband is heavily involved with the sport. But before we jump into that, we actually have another great sponsor who I absolutely love. I just need to show this amazing sports bra right here. It is from Haleo Athletica. I am always posting in their gear all the time. They have these brand new sports bras. You can check them out right now with the animal print. You guys can look good and feel amazing in Haleo booty lifting squat proof leggings. Haleo LA has leggings and sports bra tops made for every woman, lifestyle, and experience. Visit Haleo LA. Again, guys, that's HALIO LA, like Los Angeles.com. Again, HALIOLA.com today. Confidence never looks so good in you guys. So again, I am always posting all the time in this amazing company. Actually, if you guys have been looking at my Instagram, my default photo in that really cool army green color, it's actually the same color as Silvana's outfit or top right now. Yeah, they make all different types of colors. They have army green, they have navy, red, pink, animal print. Please go ahead, check out their brand. I absolutely love them to death. Again, HaleoLA.com. Please go check them out. Baseball. We've been talking about this sport the whole entire time. And we also mentioned that your husband is involved with the sport, but we didn't say what exactly he does. So Silvana is actually married to Buck Britton, and his brother is a pitcher, I believe, for the New York Yankees. His brother, I guess he played a little bit with my boyfriend back in the day when my boyfriend had a brief stint with the Yankees. But yeah, let's talk about baseball. So your husband, Buck, you guys actually met when he was involved with the Orioles because you grew up in Sarasota, and their spring training facility is actually right in Sarasota in that area. So what was it like meeting your husband? I know at the time you were working at a resort. So let's hear it, girl. How did you and your hubby meet?
So it's actually a really funny story. I was working at the resort where the team was staying. He was with the taxi squad at the time, so it was right around the end of the season. He came up to us at the front desk, to my friend and I, and he was like, well, me and the guys want to go out tonight. Where should we go? And I was like, well, you need to go to the Key because that's the place to go on Saturdays. And he was like, not very nice. Well, we're not going there. We just came from there. I was like, okay, well, good luck. So my friend and I had actually plans to go out that night to the Key. So, 11 o'clock rolls around. I leave work, go to the Key. And as I'm walking in through the back with my girlfriend, I see him walking in through the front with his friend. And I was like, oh, I thought you guys weren't coming here. He was like, well, we changed our minds. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we kind of just like sat down and started talking. And I started talking because I'm more of a talkative person. He didn't say one word. So I was like, think of an icebreaker. But I was really awkward at the time too. So my icebreaker was, so you like baseball? And he was like, yep. Okay. So that was the beginning of our relationship.
I think that is so interesting how you guys magically, I would call it magic, but obviously it must have been fate. And I know you are very much so into your faith, because we just spoke about all of that and spirituality. And when you meet your husband, I feel like you kind of just know that person is the one. So after meeting Buck and having known that he is involved with the sport, were you kind of like, oh my gosh, do I want to get involved with a professional athlete? Do I want to get involved with somebody that plays sports? Or I know he currently isn't playing baseball, but he did back in the day, but he's now the AA affiliate manager for the Baltimore Orioles. How is it being involved with somebody that is so heavily involved with the sport of baseball?
Well, when I first met him, I knew nothing about baseball. Nothing. I had never been to a baseball game. I didn't know any baseball teams. It just was never something that like caught my eye or like caught my interest. So I knew nothing about it. I didn't know that they had to like leave their homes for months at a time. I didn't know like he was even playing in the Dominican at the time for winter ball. I knew nothing about it. And then when I met him, we went on. So he was in Sarasota for like a month. And that whole month we would go out on dates, like, once a week or so, kind of getting to know each other. And that's when he was about to leave. He was like, I'm going to the Dominican and I live in Texas and da da da. And, is this going to be long distance? Are you willing to do this? And I was like, yeah, like, why not? And I didn't realize how crazy the baseball life is, or like just living in like a sports filled life. Professional athletes, it was really interesting, but he made it so easy for me to just be like, okay, this is doable. This is awesome. I have always been a really independent person, and he has as well, since he's always gone from home. So it was easy for us to kind of transition into a long distance relationship, because we both kind of did our own thing, but we knew we had each other anyways.
And I understand the whole idea behind the long distance, because I'm currently dealing with that now. Although I've kind of enjoyed, as weird as it may sound, the whole COVID experience, because having my boyfriend around this first year of us dating has actually been very helpful, because dating somebody that plays a sport like that where they're constantly on the road, I kind of questioned it at the beginning too, because we met last January. I was like, do I want to date somebody that plays a sport, even though I'm heavily involved with sports myself, because I know how the lifestyle is. And he just reassured me, like, I'll do the FaceTiming. We're going to go on dates. You can come visit me. And lo and behold, he didn't even end up playing after spring training because there was no AAA. And they obviously kept the teams very small due to the COVID situation. So we got so much free time together, and I'm so thankful for that. But knowing that you get to cheer on your hubby and probably go watch him coach the team now or help alongside, because he is obviously a manager alongside with the Baltimore Orioles AA affiliate, Do you ever coordinate special outfits with your baby so that way you guys can go and cheer him on? What is that whole experience like, being able to cheer on your husband?
So, I guess before I had my baby, it was a lot easier to do stuff like that. He was actually asked to go help out in the Major League side last year in September. So we got to go to that, which was really exciting. It was really fun. We've been able to go to multiple baseball games was last winter when we were in the Dominican. So that was really cool. The baseball game there it's a whole different world. It's amazing. So it's so different. Like, and it's funny because when I first met my husband, the first time I went to see him after he left Sarasota was in the Dominican, and that was my first baseball game was in the Dominican. So it was amazing. When I came to the US, it was totally different. I was like, it's so quiet. Why is it so quiet here? Like in the Dominican, they have like drummers and like bands and dancers. It's like, it's insane, but it's a lot of fun. It's harder now that I have a baby. She's a lot of work. So I still do try to make her little outfits and, with her her last name. So yeah, it's fun, but it's a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of fun, though, as you've mentioned, and the traveling. I'm actually getting ready to start getting some custom items made for my boyfriend's team. We don't know what team yet because he's obviously a free agent as well. So we're waiting to see who he gets picked up by. I'm praying for an East Coast team. That way it's easier for me to travel with our kid. It's not an actual kid, but he's like a kid. We have a dog named Decker. And I'm so scared of putting him on an airplane every day. I'm like, I hope you're on the East Coast so I could just pack him up and we can drive. I'm super excited for the upcoming season. Talking about the upcoming season, what are you excited for? Are you hoping that this season is normal? I think we all are kind of hoping that it's a normal season. And will you be traveling for baseball this year?
So before the coronavirus happened, we were planning on keeping the family together this year. So for the past couple of years, I have worked at the bank. I worked at Chase, and we did long distance, but I still went to visit him every month. After I got pregnant and had my baby, we were like, let's keep the family together. It's important that we all stay together and that she grows up, with her dad. We decided it would be best for me to stay home since, the baseball season kind of resumed later in the year. And it's just too much work for me to move up there with my baby. And we have a dog too, just for like 3 months, still not knowing what's going on, having to stay quarantined. It just didn't seem like the best idea. So I decided to stay home. I actually started going to school. I started a business, and, I've been thriving a lot this year. So next year, I don't really know what's going to happen yet. We're kind of just waiting to see, praying about it, and, whatever happens is going to be the best thing.
Wishful thinking for a positive upcoming baseball season and spring training. I'm super excited for it. If we are down in Florida, I will be sure to hit you up. You guys are now listening to the Boss Babes. I'm your host, Brittany Baldi. Emmalyn Reid will be joining you very shortly, guys, to talk all about charity and how the Britton family gives back. But before we get into that, I know that your husband, Buck, his brother actually is a pitcher for the Yankees. So I want to discuss the New York Yankees a little bit, what it's like having a brother-in-law that plays for the New York Yankees. And do you ever go up and watch him play, or what's that whole experience like having two family members that are highly involved with the sport of baseball?
So I've never gotten to watch him play. Unfortunately, with baseball and it being both of their lives, they're on a pretty tight schedule, and it's always the same. So anytime I had a chance to, get out and, go on vacation from work, it would be to visit my husband. So I never really got to watch him play yet, but hopefully this spring training, I know they have spring training in Tampa, which is really close to Sarasota. So hopefully this upcoming year, things are a little more normal and we can go up there and visit him. He hasn't met our daughter yet. So I know he really wants to meet her, and, we're just trying to go with the flow and trying to meet up when we can.
And you guys know that a big portion of our show is all about giving back in a big way. We love charity. We love talking about how our sports entertainers, how the wives and girlfriends give back to their communities. So we're going to switch it on over to our girl, Emma. And I know she has some questions about how you guys like to give back to your community.
Yeah, so Silvana, I want to hear about all that the Britton family has been doing to give back. I know that, while he was playing, there was a lot of responsibility that he had, to dedicate time to his family, to his team, but there was also an aspect of giving in there. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So I know when he was playing, he did a lot of, even now that he's not playing, he's able to do a lot of the camps at the baseball field with like the little league teams, and he loves doing that. He will go every day that it's open. He always volunteers to do that, and I think that's really special.
Awesome. We'd love to hear that. And especially for the young kids too, I'm sure that it's really exciting and that they love to see it, to be able to interact with somebody. It's like, you just look up and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's somebody that I want to be, to see like somebody that you look up to doing a career that many young children look up to. I think it's awesome that they'll jump back and give back in that way. And I'm sure that that's something that, you want the kids growing up and seeing too, right? Okay, like, this is something that you too can do one day. It's inspiring for them to chase their own dreams, no matter what they are. I'm sure it's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, and he loves kids. He loves coaching. I think honestly, this is what he was meant to do. He's so good at it, and he puts his heart and soul into it, which is, when you can tell like when somebody loves doing something because the people around them are happy. So
that's amazing. Britt, I know you had a couple more questions for Silvana.
I love that your husband is heavily involved with coaching, giving back, and helping out the Little League. My boyfriend recently, a few weeks ago, did the same thing in Kernersville, North Carolina, because this is where he grew up, the Winston-Salem, Kernersville area. They raised some money, gave it back to the Little League, which was very exciting. I got to be a part of that and watch him give back to the kids. They did some raffles. It was a whole full 9-hour clinic for the children, and I have loved watching him do things like that, and I hope he continues to do things like that. Both him and his brother, and both of his parents are heavily involved with the sport of baseball as well. You guys know we're all about game day eats as well. We talked earlier about Emma's game day eats. I mean, she loves to have gluten-free stuff, which is still delicious. She made these really great apple cider gluten-free donuts. But Silvana, what are some of your favorite game day eats?
So we love arepas. This is a Venezuelan meal. It is cornmeal, and it's made into like can't think of the name. Not putty, but I don't know. I can't think of the name. It's called a masa. And you cook it on the stove, on the skillet, and then you can stuff it with like all kinds of things. So for breakfast, you could do like eggs, cheese, butter. For like, a lunch style one, you could do like, black beans, beef, chicken. There's just so many different combinations, but we absolutely love making these on game days. Also, fried plantains, awesome snack. Highly recommend if you've never tried them. They sell them at the grocery store. You can just buy them and fry them up. It is the absolute best thing.
That all sounds so delicious. We're going to have to try some new game day eats. And Positive Pop. You ladies know that we're all about Positive Pop, giving back to the community and leaving everybody with a positive mantra. Silvana, what is your Positive Pop? And then we're going to hear from Emma about her Positive Pop.
So for me, it's all about gratitude, being 100% like aware of all of the good things in your life and focusing on those. knowing that things are not going to be perfect. We live in a very imperfect world, but there are a lot of wonderful things in your life that you should always put your focus on.
That is some excellent positive pop. And Emma, what is your positive pop?
I'm going to say that mine for today is definitely keep the faith. And I'm taking that from you, Silvana, because I really love that you said that earlier. Keeping the faith is so important, especially when, you know, things can go in so many different directions. And honestly, it's one of those things that you just have to kind of, you know, for me, it's let go and let God. And for you guys, it can be, if you're somebody that, you know, has a different faith, it can be let go and trust whatever it is that you believe in. But I think it's important to very much realize that, you know, there's a prayer that we say, you know, God, you know, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I think that that's important in really, you know, any religion or any beliefs that you have, to really, you know, kind of have a mindset of, you know, being able to accept the things you cannot change, being, especially on this election day where it's really crazy and we really, at this point, you know, don't have control of, you know, whatever the turnout is. And I think having the courage to say, okay, but I'm going to stand up and do my part and, you know, and vote and do what I believe in. And then, you know, the serenity to say, okay, like, you know, whatever it is, it is. And the wisdom to kind of know the difference of, is this something that I fight for? Or is this something that I can't control? So I think it's important for all of us to kind of just take that moment and just, you know, breathe and just let go and let the universe do its thing.
And thank you for tuning into the Boss Babes. You guys all rock. Amazing listeners. You guys are such a great Boss Babe tribe. Emmalyn, where can people find you on social media?
Great question, Britt. You can find me at Real Emmalyn Reid. And if you want to, I would love to see you guys subscribe to Evenings with Emmalyn on YouTube. That would just make me so happy to see you guys subscribe. And that way you can get my good news notifications every single Friday at 6 p.m. when a new episode goes up. And then if you want to get those recipes like the apple cider donuts, if you want to see that Fresh Look Friday that I'm doing, you can see that up there as well.
Love it. Silvana, where can people find you, both your personal and also Ballpark Gem? So that way, if people, again, if you guys have ideas for some upcoming Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, Ballpark Gem is the place to be, because they have so many amazing items that you guys can use as gifts. Where can they find you, Silvana?
So my personal Instagram is at Silvana Britton. And my business Instagram is at Ballpark Gem. Definitely come over to my page, check it out. There's a lot of awesome stuff. You are not going to be disappointed.
You guys obviously can find me at Brittany Baldi on all social media. And of course, please follow the Boss Babes on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. We have new episodes out every couple of days. We are literally editing, getting up new content. Our social media, we are always posting about breaking news and baby announcements and whatnot. So please follow the Boss Babes on social media. We have brand new episodes out every month, and we will continue to put out new episodes for the year 2020. You guys rock. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Hey,
Thank you so much.